Hello and welcome back to T3's Week in Tech. It is February now.
Long time no see.
Long time no see indeed. Why don't we just do a quick whistle stop? What was your highlight from CES?
You know, as lame as it sounds, this phone case. But you don't like it.
I think that is hideous.
Okay, let me show you.
It's like an exoskeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I love it. Hold on. Let me show you Arc Pulse. You should watch our video on it. I put a video up on it, and I showed all the Pro versions because I will say the Pro editions are really nice because they actually have like a shiny finish. So you can get like a gold, the gold on the Desert Titanium looks so good. Like, are you kidding me? That looks quite nice. Sorry, I'm showing Sam now.
I'm not convinced by it, no. But I'm glad you're happy. So that was your tech highlight of CES, was that strange
and
little
they also had
case.
this dope keyboard. Sorry, okay. So I'm still not entirely sure
Do you want to
about...
look for it on my phone just so you're not constantly doing it on that one?
No, it's
Is that
okay.
easier? You sure?
Well, if you want to.
Well, no, it's up to you.
So it's a modular keyboard.
Okay.
And it's all like MagSafe-esque. I'm butchering this, but it's like all the components to it.
How does a modular keyboard work? Because
like this? So
Right.
you can put you can have a dial right there. So it's two halves essentially. And it's kind of like has that like curved look of like an ergonomic keyboard, except you can actually adjust. So let me see. I told them. Anyways, so it looks like this, right? And these can bend, and I'm not explaining this very well. You need to go look it up. It's on like naya.tech.
It's
Naya.tech.
it's an interesting look.
You can add like a rolly ball mouse, or you can add like a twisty little like
Dial.
wheel. Yeah. So you can add all these different things, and you have 2 slots for it. You can you can just basically make it as like creative as you want. Like as a video editor, as someone who frequently edits videos, that would be so cool. Are you kidding me? And then you can also like put your hands like in different spots. Like I'm fascinated. I think it's so cool.
Okay.
And it's really well built. It also lights up.
That does look like a cool bit of tech.
Right?
I much prefer that to the phone case. So
Okay. This was pretty freaking cool.
yeah. Cool.
Anyways, but
Okay.
yeah. No, but I love the phone case too because like no matter how you drop it, granted, I think it does need to be on like a flat surface, but no matter how you drop it, the case will touch the ground before the phone. I just love that. I'm sorry, there's just something so satisfying.
Just can't do it on a jagged rock.
No, I don't think you can because then But these are like the most sensitive places of your phone.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, it makes sense.
You know?
I totally understand the concept. I just think it looks
I also think that's so T3.
hideous.
I also think that's so T3 though.
What that
Like,
case?
yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Like, yeah. Because everyone wants to go, like, I hate when people are like, going bareback on my phone. That's what our editor-in-chief has used before to say it. I hate it so much. Anyways, but everyone wants to go, like, caseless. And I feel like that's a privileged thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do feel like that's a bit
That's the
fancy
I
pantsy
can
of you.
afford to pay for Apple Care Plus.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I could buy another one. Yeah, so I feel like that is like a luxury.
What I will say, this is quite a nice segue actually, because I want to talk to you about the Honor Magic 7 Pro. So you went to CES, I didn't. I instead, the next week, went to Slovenia for the launch of the new Honor Magic 7 Pro. I say
like a good time.
new, it was the global launch. It's technically already out in China, but there are a few differences. So it is, in theory, a slightly different phone.
That's fascinating to me. Sorry, sidetracked,
But, well, what I was going to say is that the 7 Pro, but more so the 7 Lite, which we actually, you'll know from what we did,
I do.
is built with quite a rugged design in mind. And what was really interesting was the 7 Lite, as part of the promo video, they actually dropped it down the side of a mountain and things like this. And for a £300-400 phone, I think, it's quite cheap, but it's quite stylish looking phone. And it just held up. It was really quite cool. They said that someone has used a can't remember what model it was. It might have been the 7 Lite, or it might have been a different phone altogether, as a hockey puck, ice hockey puck.
Ooh.
Because of the nano
my
display
God.
crystal screen. There was all sorts of stuff.
Were they
and
hitting it with like an actual hockey stick?
Yeah. And we saw it run over by a quad bike. They like ran over the phone on a gravel patch. Came up fine. It was a bit dusty, but it was fun. And I just think there's a lot I have to say about the Honor launch, and maybe I'll get into it in a bit. I don't know, but that commitment to put in ruggedness and reliability in a phone that doesn't look like a rugged phone, I really appreciate that. I think that we need to get to a point now where phones can start to actually withstand being used.
I think they do need to rebrand it a little bit, which I think is what they're doing. But like when you say rugged phone, I'm like, no matter what it looks like, I'm still like, oh.
I know exactly what I think of. Do you remember that
cat phone? The cat phone? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
It was an amazing phone, but it's not a looker.
It was distinctly not a looker.
It's the only phone I've ever known where the bezel goes higher than the screen, which is a fantastic design, but it's hideous to use. You've almost got to reach into your phone to start using it.
It's definitely like, it's not just rugged. It goes beyond like, it's made for construction workers.
It's like, it's intense. Like it's a good phone. Like in terms of if you want something for that job, it's cracking. But I love that we're starting to see some of the more traditional, nice, sleek designs have that.
Does look good.
Sorry?
It does look good.
The iPhone.
The Honor phone.
The Honor phone, sorry.
Honor.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it does. It is. I tell you what as well, actually, one thing that I think I've brought it up recently in a video we did. It might not be out yet. There's a couple of brands that are coming back with some real curved edges on the display. What's that all about? I thought they'd gone forever. And I think Oppo and Honor have both got these, like, proper,
so whereas Samsung went away from it.
Samsung's gone away from it. Apple's kind of...
They've been away from it
They've been away for a while. They've got a little bit of a round edge, but it's nothing like
You're talking about the screen, right?
I'm talking about the screen, and it is like a proper radius. It's not like and it falls away. It's like it's an. I might have the Oppo with me, but you can have a look. But it's an odd.
I would like to see actually.
Let me see if I've got it.
Gimme.
See?
Oh,
it's quite a rounded edge. And Honor did the same thing where. So basically, these rounded edges were quite fashionable a few years ago. Then they disappeared, mainly because it detracted from the screen you could actually use. Some of them had like mistouch and stuff, and now they're back.
I wish they could utilize it in some special way.
Yeah,
like if you could do like this kind of thing. You
know,
like with the idea that Apple's camera module, camera control button. Like if you could do that kind of thing, just like hide it in the screen where it's on the side.
Yeah.
I'd like that. That would feel useful.
I feel like we might get to that point where you've almost got like a volume slider.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That could be quite handy.
That'd be really nice.
It's just
and then you eliminate like actual buttons, which I hate that I'm saying that because I'm generally a button fan.
Yeah.
But it does, leave less room for error.
Yeah.
I suppose when you're...
It feels like that's the way the industry's going. And I just think it could be quite... But it's just interesting to me. It disappeared and it's come back and kind of makes me hopeful for some other things to like disappear and then maybe come back. So
I think like squeeze technology could be really cool.
Yeah. That's not a bad shout. I think...
Wow. Apple, you should hire us. Look at us right here. You heard it here first. Here first.
Yeah. The other thing I will say, just while we've got it out, Oppo Find X8 Pro. Camera on this is pretty special. I basically used this a couple of weeks ago. I did the Sony A1 Mark II launch, and I went to a Premier League football match, shot with their photography team. It was amazing, like such a good experience. Great to put the phone, the camera through its paces in the proper environment. And then Oppo reached out to me and said, do you want to come to a game and see if you can do something similar with this? And I thought, come on. But, took them up on the offer. And the results are interesting, but they are impressive. There's a couple of things I don't like, and it sort of gets into a bigger conversation about modern camera phones. But this is the best camera phone I've used as a photography fan, because it's the only one that lets you change your base camera. So I can set this to be a 35mm focal length, which is what I use on my camera. So everything feels just a little bit more familiar right off the bat. I think you can choose between 24, 28, and 35.
It's just a digital
crop. Yeah. But it will do the 2x crop thing that they're all doing these days anyway. So it's not like you're going ultra low resolution. And then you can also do, I think the highest native or native plus the 1x crop is 135mm equivalent. And then you get to like 300mm before it gets really grainy and horrible. And you can do a lot with it. Like it's impressive in the way it looks. So, right, that's another one ticked off. Just while we had that one out, I wanted to give that a quick talk. I suppose while we're talking cameras, so as we're recording this, we've had a little bit of news this morning, or a rumor this morning.
Oh God!
About there's a new nothing handset which is rumored to be coming soon. We don't know anything about it at the minute, but there's a lot of leaks and rumors flying around.
I think there's an actual date though. I think they have put down.
Is there a date?
I think so.
I must be honest, I've not kept entirely abreast of it. But
I think I saw it on Threads, maybe.
Okay, interesting.
Where they had posted the date.
In any case, this morning the rumor is, and correct me if I've got this wrong, they're gonna employ a camera control button similar to that of the iPhone 16.
Yeah, well, so there's a couple different theories here. Some which, fair enough. Let me find it. Nothing. Please, I think you have a Threads account. Pretty sure you do. Come on now. Yeah, so they put, so the 4th of March, 10 a.m. GMT. So it's this photo. So if you go on Nothing's Threads, you will see it, like the second one down. And it's a volume or power button. It looks very similar to what the right-hand side of the iPhone 16 looks like. Power button, and then the camera button. The thing with it is that the text that accompanies it is your second memory, one click away. Which some people are like, oh, that might be an AI button, but also your second memory could also be photos, I would say. And so either, I guess it's like an iPhone, either way they've gone iPhone, haven't they? With like a touch button and...
It's one of those where I'm fairly certain, and I haven't got the handset on me to check, I'm pretty sure Nothing and a lot of Android phones have two buttons on that side anyway, right? Because on most Android phones, you have the volume rocker and then the power button. My guess is probably
and then
not...
nothing on this side.
And then... Hang on. Why am I guessing?
I know.
And then, so there's an alert slider there.
Oh, fine.
That is obviously a hinge on that side. Yeah. I'm fairly certain the majority that I use have it on that side anyway, so it doesn't feel that unusual.
Do you think that's a volume rocker and that's a power button? I don't think so because of what they've said.
Yeah, my guess is that that's going to be more like an action button than a camera button. And the main reason why I said that is because I don't think I've met anyone who thinks that the camera capture thing is a good idea.
I found someone today on Threads, like in the comments of this, that I did notice. They were like, they said it was bizarre.
But actually, and what I will say is, because that looks like it's going to be a physical button. I know it's difficult to say, but you'd wager that might be the case. Yeah. In which case, you have a physical click, which you could potentially assign. I mean, all of this is speculation, right? All of this is speculation, I should say. Yeah. But if that is doing what I think it is, which is a programmable action button, you could use that as the clicker for the camera, and
yeah, totally. That's what you can do with this.
I think that is exactly what I want from what the iPhone offers. What the iPhone then goes and does is throws the kitchen sink at it, and you have everything possible, and that is not what you want. That's like trying to have a camera with one control dial on it.
It is so sensitive.
Is
Have
it?
you tried it?
No, I've not.
Oh my god.
Can I do it without
I think so.
stopping the recording? Oh, that's okay.
It's not the most intuitive thing, and it has. You have to press really hard to get it to take the photo. It requires quite a bit of force.
Well, yeah, it's pressing a physical button to get a photo out of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Which for my little.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. But for my itty bitty fingers, that are already, have my phone in like a claw grip. I just don't really have quite the leverage to do it. So I found myself like trying to take photos at like these keynotes, like.
I think it would be good as a single function. If it was just zoom and click, perfect. Or, you could assign what you wanted it to do from any of the functions. I imagine most people would zoom, but whatever. It could work really nicely. It's having the options in there, I think, kills it for me. Because you're then sat there going, okay, well, I want this at f8, and I'm going to have drop the exposure value and this, that, and the other. Now, on a screen, you probably do that in 2 seconds. On that, I think by the time I go to do it, whatever I'm going to take a photo of will be, it'll be dark. Like, there's no point. Absolutely no point.
Yeah, I kept thinking I'd get used to it, and maybe I will. I just don't take that many photos with my phone, funnily enough. But
I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. I think the concept of it is really good. I just don't think you should have everything on it. I think that's where it kills it for me. If it was just a single function, single programmable function, and a shutter button, I think that'd be really
that's
cool.
What the action button is.
Well, but the haptic nature of it is quite useful for one thing.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Then why don't you get rid of the action button and just make it haptic?
Well, yeah, I think getting rid of all the buttons is probably the way that we're looking to go in the not too distant future. Yeah. But this is sort of a step towards that. I don't know. It's it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I still don't think it's good, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And there are things about that I could enjoy if they were implemented a little better.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah. Yeah.
I do like that they've kind of innovated in that way, though, because one thing I've always enjoyed, and I had it with the Xiaomi 14 Ultra. Is that the most current one? I think it's the 14.
I remember 13.
I remember a 13, but I think I did that before. In any case, whatever the latest Xiaomi Ultra was that had the photography kit, that was amazing. We've done it before with the Snap Grip on the MagSafe, and I love having those little camera attachments that make it feel a little bit more engaging. And actually, I think that
Belkin released one, didn't they?
Did they?
That was their thing at CES. And I didn't see it. I didn't go see it, but I saw a lot of other people see it. I think our boss did as well. I think it's a battery with an extra camera grip on it.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, because Belkin primarily just batteries, but it's kind of childish looking from the photos I've seen.
What I was going to say is that an attachment like that would be perfect for something like this. I don't think I'd want it haptic on that. I think I'd prefer physical dials. But if you had something where you could go, okay, this one's your zoom, this one's your aperture or whatever, whatever you want to operate. But have it as an attachment, because most people couldn't give a monkeys. Like, they won't touch it. But the people who do will pay extra. Like, I would pay extra to have that attachment. I loved that Xiaomi phone. I wish I could have kept hold of that, because that was so much fun to use. As as someone who goes out and enjoys photography and has quite a sizable camera collection, it would be much more beneficial to me to pay the extra £100 and have an attachment that gives me the functionality, rather than some kind of semi-consumer, semi-professional, not really appealing to anyone thing.
I do wonder if it's somehow them nudging us towards phone usage in a way that they think will benefit the Apple Vision Pro. You know what I mean? You know how sometimes things come out and you think, oh, that's dumb, but really it was just like the company all along kind of, training their audience to
I get you.
something.
I get you. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're wearing Apple Vision Pro and trying to operate an iPhone at the same time, there is more of a case for physical buttons. And buttons where you can feel things. But I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But that's smarter people than me would know, maybe. But I will be interested to see if that's what's going on here. Because it does feel like a backward step. Sorry.
No. It definitely, I think, could be to do with, because we've obviously used a Vision Pro very briefly. But the whole thing is based around using your fingers as the kind of control center, right? So maybe it is getting you used to, this sounds really daft.
They're training us.
They're training you to kind of go, if you do this with your finger.
They're strengthening those finger muscles.
Well, it's an interesting thought. I don't doubt it. I think if I had to put my... if I had to make a guess, I would wager that the Nothing design isn't going to be quite the same.
I hope
and
not.
I think it will be the better for it.
I think it will be an AI thing.
I think given Nothing's approach for customization, I wouldn't be surprised if it was user programmable.
Oh, yes.
As in, like, you could have it be for the camera, you could have it be for...
I think you're right. I think they primarily will hopefully...
Yeah.
I hope it's not a camera capture button, though.
I just hope that
I'd be so disappointed in them.
I don't know. I think it's something that people have asked for so long, and...
A camera capture button?
Not like that, but a shutter button. Yeah.
Okay, well...
But I don't know. I think I could see that being the case.
Remember the good old days where you could just use the volume button as your shutter?
Can you not still do that, though? I think...
I've no idea, actually. Could try it, but I don't really care that much. But point is, it existed. I don't really know if it's still a thing. It would be on your Android, yeah. Because you haven't got a camera capture button.
Oh, no, there you go. Yeah, I did take a photo.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, there are more things I could say about this, but I feel like we're beating a dead horse. I want to show you a product.
Okay, what is it?
Heck. The Remarkable Paper Pro. This is technically another spoil from CES because I met them there, and we got into a really good conversation about, like, because obviously I'm a digital productivity nut with, like, my iPads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, like, added, like, a paper, like, screen protector to my iPad Pro so that, like, it feels more like I have paper, because I find that in my old age, tactile experiences are more memorable to me. So it just really helps when I'm, like, planning out my day or writing or something. And this gorgeous beast, feel that? Sorry, I'm having him hold the Remarkable. So this is the Paper Pro. Okay. So they've had a Remarkable.
Can I use it?
Yeah. Here, let me unlock it, though. So I do have it locked because, privacy.
What is there to be private about on there? It's just like a notepad, right?
Yeah.
Digital notepad. Okay,
yeah, I've also got, like, my writing and stuff. So, like, I'm just wearing my work section at the moment.
Yeah, okay. But it doesn't do anything else, does it? It's just a...
It's just a paper pad, yeah.
And it's not touch, it's just with the pencil?
It's also touch.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so, like, you can go in my weekly updates folder, or, like...
Just add a new one for me. You have a scribble.
Okay. Right, and so I've got it with... So this is the Paper Pro. So they've got the Remarkable 1 and 2, neither of which I know, right? It's an incredible experience, honestly. I'm kind of obsessed. Here, try the different, like, tools and stuff, too. Okay. Also, if you flip it around, it's just an eraser. That's the thing about the Pro. The Pro is the first... Yeah.
I was about to flip the...
I did see you pick the thing. Okay. Which is cool. I mean, you could also set the pen to be an eraser, I'm pretty sure, but it's still really cool to be able to flip it around and have that tactile experience that you're used to, put yourself in a different frame of mind. You can also move things around, so you can, like, you can select your words and stuff with a little box and move them around the page if you want to. Yeah. And it also all syncs to your other devices. So you can see anything that you write on here on your computer or your phone. And the whole idea is to take away like notifications and distracting things, which is something I desperately need, I think. And I also just really like feeling like I'm writing in a notebook. Because it is so much better than, what the iPad can replicate right now, as good as it is. And I think there are use cases for both. But I've been writing so much on this thing The only thing is I have realized that my handwriting is a bit shit because on the iPad, I zoom in a lot to write. So I write very large. And then when you zoom out, it's very neat.
Yeah.
Here I've realized just how bad my handwriting is. Anyways, but this is an e-ink tablet. So it also has a backlight too.
Okay. We're under,
but,
studio lights and stuff, but that's cool.
The only thing I haven't, and you can like mark up PDFs and stuff on it. The only thing I haven't managed to do is find EPUBs that I can rig to show up on this. But that's a whole different conversation. But it's really cool. Oh, you're drawing me a little. Is that Bart Simpson?
It's some unhinged warrior.
No, it's not, guys. I see the full thing. It's not.
All I was just thinking was, that's not bad. I always question how much of a market these devices really
Oh, it's
have.
definitely a luxury product. They have marketed it as a luxury product, and I very much agree because I think the whole idea of having a device just to write is a very luxury.
Because also, like, I was listening to what you were saying then, and I was the same, right? When I was in uni, I used my iPad. I didn't have any of the paper screen things, but it worked fine, and it was good. It made the notes go into my head. It was all fine. Like, I subscribed to that whole thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's any point in my adult post-university life that I've gone, I desperately want to write some notes. I'm going to get an iPad. I carry around a pen and paper, like.
Oh, really?
Like I and maybe that's just my way of
me having 3 different devices just for writing.
Well, this is what I mean, right?
And I think iPad Mini with me.
I think we do just subscribe to this in a bit of a different way, where like if I was going to do something where I wanted to use a digital device, it would be because I want to use a spreadsheet or something like that, right? If and sometimes I do notate things using that medium. That is just a different way of doing it. If I was going to like scribble something down, I don't know if I'd reach for something like this. It's very sleek and it's very cool.
Oh, it also comes with a keyboard. Okay, but the keyboard folio
is
just
an iPad.
I know, and I haven't used the keyboard folio because frankly that's not what I'm as interested in. But I must say they blow the Magic Keyboard out of the water.
Really?
Yeah, the whole it is so slender. I literally couldn't find the keyboard to begin with. I couldn't figure out where it was. But it has an interesting fold-up design that I'll have to show you. I'm gonna do a video on it because it's very sleek. But it literally can just function like that folio where you can just fold it. It's just a little bit fatter. Yeah. But then you pull up it, so it's on the back. So like you pull up the screen, and then the keyboard reveals itself.
Right.
But it otherwise just looks like a folio.
So this doesn't have any, like, you can't surf the internet or anything on this.
No.
So it's just a pad. Mm-hmm. How much is it?
That's the kicker, right? It's let me look up the full price. £559.
How much? Sorry.
£559.
Good Lord above.
And then
£559.
And then the accessories also. So
that's just for the pad.
So I don't think it comes with. It might come with
the pen.
It might come with the normal pen. So that's the Pro Pen, I think, or the Marker Plus. They call it a marker. I think it's the Marker Plus. It does have a color display, which is lovely. I think
it has a color display, does it?
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, yeah.
Okay. I see.
So it is, and you can darken those colors as well. So go over them again.
I think it is clearly a very cool bit of tech. There is no denying that. However, I think it is priced like it is designed by a lunatic.
No.
There is no way. This is like.
I think they know their audience, though, to be fair.
They probably do, but given that for the same money, you could go out, buy an iPad, buy an Apple Pencil, stick a paper-like screen protector on it.
That's missing the idea. The idea is that you don't want anything else on it.
Stick airplane mode on.
I get what they're doing.
I understand the point of it, but
if I had hella money, I would.
If this was like 150 quid, that would be.
But then you're in like Kindle Scribe territory, aren't you?
I don't really know, but I just don't understand a market where this has.
Oh, the Marker or Marker Plus is included in the box.
Right. Okay.
But you
I
need
mean,
to
as
buy
I
the
think it
folio
should be. Otherwise
separately.
you can't really do anything with it, can you?
Yeah.
You just bought a 550 quid paperweight at that point.
Yes.
It's really cool. I don't like to poo-poo tech unnecessarily, but that's a hard.
I just think it's so T3.
It's great. Like if you've got the money to go and kick about on it, more power to you. But
Exactly.
I just don't. I don't think I would. I don't understand.
Even if you had like a lot of money.
Even if I was Elon Musk, I don't
Oh.
think I'd like. Because what's the point?
No, I love it. I do. I like the whole idea behind it. Like me in my everyday life, I could not spend that much on this. Like you're right. If I was going for like utility, I would go for an iPad, and I have. But like I do see the value in just having that black and white. Like it is so much easier to just write, even with the Apple Pencil, like zooming in and doing all that stuff and writing, and it's just there's something. As someone who's written extensively on both, this is really pleasant experience.
I'm sure it is. I just don't think it's a £560 experience, personally. Oh, there's a new Apple app that's rumoured. Have you heard about this? Codenamed Confetti. It's apparently an update to...
Calendar! I did see this!
Yeah. So, but it's not...
I was wondering.
It's a separate app. So Calendar's staying as it is. This is described by Mark Gurman as a new way to invite people to things. And I have two thoughts of what I think it's going to include. The first is that I think you're going to get like a card that you can design with like what's it called? The image playground? The Apple's AI suite thing. I think it's going to be like, right, stick your is it Apple Bitmoji?
Yeah.
Stick your Bitmoji on the top, stick a background you create with AI, and invite someone to your barbecue or your birthday party or the dog's 50th, whatever it may be.
And you could...
And then the other thing is I think that you'll be able to embed spatial video to integrate with Apple Vision Pro. I will say this is all speculation.
Ooh.
Absolutely nothing about this has been confirmed by anyone. Not that they would confirm it with me anyway. This is purely my speculation based on what I think Apple is about to do, and I think it's going to be this. I think it'll be, like what were they? The contact cards. Just seems to have come out of the blue, and I quite like that. I like the surprise being brought back to it.
I like when they play with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. That is quite exciting. I really did think it was a calendar integration, though. I don't know. But like I said, I've just got all of my news from scrolling and thinking, that's interesting. But not interested enough to spend my time on looking into it.
I wonder if it'd be like a widget that integrates rather than a separate app. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would make sense because I feel like it doesn't, unless it's truly fantastic, it feels excessive to me.
Yeah.
And again, back to my whole minimalism thing, just put it as a feature.
Just because I'm conscious of the time, let's quickly do Samsung.
Oh, God. Yeah, Samsung.
So, to give a quick recap, Samsung launched 3 phones at the event, which was the S25, S25 Plus, S25 Ultra. Then they pulled the old switcheroo at the end. Lights went down, lights came back up. We got 60 seconds of kind of tear down video, and then the words Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, which was then on display and is basically the S25 Slim that we were talking about before, but under a new name. It's not yet unveiled. The specs on it are relatively slim. Last rumor I saw for it said that it was going to have a 200 megapixel main sensor and a 12 megapixel ultra wide as its 2 cameras, which that terrifies me, because one of the things I hate most about cameras in phones is that you can absolutely tell when you go from a really good sensor to a shockingly bad one.
There's quite a jump there.
Yeah. To go from a 12 megapixel resolution on an ultra wide camera, zoom up the extra 0.3 to go from 0.7 to 0.1, and suddenly you've got 200 megapixel resolution. That come on, I can't see. They're going to have to work some serious magic to get that to look smooth. Again, it's all speculation at the minute, but that's basically it. I think the Edge we can probably leave for another day.
My only question is, so you say it's called like the S25 Edge, so it's fitting into the S year family. Is it going to release in time to be part of the S25?
Yeah, rumors say that it's going to be summer alongside the new Zeds. So, Actually, just while we've mentioned it, Z Flip 7 rumor is that it's going to be the same cameras as the current model, which is a shame, and an Exynos 2500 processor, which is bold because the same leak said that the Z Fold was going to use the Snapdragon 8 Elite, which will mean that the Z Flip 7 will be the only device to globally use the Exynos 2500. Now, that's apparently because of issues in the production side of things, but it puts an inordinate amount of pressure on that handset to sort of be the flagship for Samsung's in-house processing.
That is interesting.
The other thing that it mentioned in that report, this is possibly going back a week or so now, was a rumor of a cheaper Z Flip 7, but there's no...
Stop bringing out the different versions.
There's no word on that. I think a cheap one could work. I've said it for years. I'm not opposed to it if they do it right, but I would prefer to have seen the cheap one use the Exynos, and then you can market that as having a flagship level processor for less.
Yeah, I'll have to think about how I feel about that whole thing. 'Cause I'm having mixed feelings about it.
I really want it to work for them. I think, but you got, the longer you leave it as well, it would be different if, say, the S25 vanilla model came out this year with the Exynos. But to just have it in one phone, which is already a bit niche, and which, let's face it, is going to be close enough in spec to the Z Flip 6 that people can pretty much make a direct comparison between the processors, I think it's a risky game to play. I really do, but I hope it works out. I would love to see Samsung, if for nothing else than to have another player in the game. I'd love to see Samsung's chip-making division get really good again.
Yeah.
But the last Exynos sort of issues are just people don't forget that. Basically, the handset it was launched with the Snapdragon in some markets and the Exynos in others, and they weren't really comparable performance-wise. Like the Snapdragon was quite a lot better. Yeah. They've since sort of dabbled with going back and forth, and it is better, but it's one of those things where, like, people still think of Samsung with like battery issues because of the Note 7. That was over 10 years ago, but those sort of perceptions just don't die overnight. And I don't know. My gut feeling is if Samsung had seen this 2500 processor and gone, this is amazing, it is the best thing we've ever done, and it deserves to be in every single phone, you'd have found a way to make it work. The fact that you've stepped back and gone, no, we'll just chuck Snapdragon and everything else, suggests to me that it's probably not fair to just give it to the Z Flip and go, oh, well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's an interesting choice on their part. I do think that, like, again, too many phones. Stop it. There's just too... I don't... And I guess I'm just the worst because I also am like, stop making all phones look the same. And then I'm like, there's too many options. But, like, another phone line? Are you kidding me? Like, who's the Edge for? Who's the Edge for?
The Edge
is it a light?
The Edge is for Samsung to say that they got there before Apple did.
Like,
I wholeheartedly
being
believe
skinny?
that. Yeah.
How skinny is it?
It's slim. I don't know the exact dimensions of it, but the rumors that we've heard about both devices was that it was going to get towards foldable territory, like 5 mil sort of thing.
Ooh.
So it's slim. Like it's an interesting way to go. I don't think it's going to be very good.
No,
because it's not very ergonomic at that point.
No, not sorry. Tennille's beautiful. His girlfriend's on the screen, so I didn't want to. Yeah, I mean, if it was this, I'd find that very interesting. I can't wait till people binge test that.
Yeah,
I'd be very interested to see.
What I will say though is that the Edge doesn't actually exist yet, nor do the flips and folds we talked about. Let's talk about the 3 phones that do exist. S25 Vanilla, S25 Plus, we can kind of group together. S25 Ultra, I think, is probably the most to talk about.
I don't get what people are excited about.
I think it's a very well-rounded phone. It has been a very well-rounded phone for many generations, right? For about 3-4 years now, it's been a good phone. The trouble I have is that so little changed this time in terms of specs. Like, there's a new processor in it. There's not much else. There's a lot of software in the camera, which fine, good, but it's not exciting. The thing I hate most... Oh, actually, no, sorry. One other thing I will say. Someone on a very good friend of T3's did a camera test. Sorry, an AI editor test recently.
Spam.
Mark Ellis.
Oh.
He looked at the Apple Intelligence and Galaxy AI removing objects with the AI eraser, and the results are stupendous. The Galaxy AI is fantastic.
I have something to talk about that is slightly unrelated. Well, it's related, but it's on an Apple side of things.
Okay.
Okay. Have you noticed? So you know Apple Intelligence has the item remover thing.
Mm-hmm.
If it senses that anything is even vaguely phallic, it will automatically blur it instead of removing it. So me the other day, I was trying to take out like a I'll show you exactly what I was trying to edit. So I'll show you what it does, because it feels, and I did read up on this online to see if other people were having this problem. It seems to be an update, and everyone else is also very annoyed with it. So I was trying to edit this photo, right? And I thought, yes, let's go in here and clean up. And so it'll go and see, there's the people you can clean up and stuff. So it's thinking about it. It doesn't usually take this long. But anyways, so there we go. Fine. This is brush, tap, or circle, but I want to remove this pole because it's ugly. If I say, remove this pole, and then it goes safety filter applied, and then I've got like an NSFW esque filter, and I'm like, no, it's a Bullard. It's not.
What I will say.
Like you can't get rid of it.
You need to have a look at Mark's post, because he did a really good look at the two, and I mean, Apple Intelligence by and large looked really bad. It was not good. It was putting some really weird artifacts in. What I will say though, to just slightly pull it back on topic, Galaxy AI one was superb. It even gets rid of like the shadow. So
it is really good.
When you take a cup I'm away from the mic. When you take a cup like this, it'll get rid of the shadow that the cup has created as well.
Yeah.
And it does it flawlessly. It's really good. So I really like that. I also the design. I mean, I loathe the iPhonification of the phone industry. It depresses me very much, because every single box starts to look the same. The Google Pixel 9, the Samsung, the Apple, they all kind of look like the same generic box now, just with a different logo and a slightly different camera mount, and they think they're whimsical. And it really irks me on a deep level. Part of the reason why I actually... I think I've triggered Gemini at some point. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason why I was quite excited for this camera, this rounded edge to come back, because actually... All right, it's not a massive difference, but it's enough that this has a bit more personality. Unfortunately, then it seems like all the brands that have done that have also gone for this mottled white finish. So they've kind of
pearly white finish that's all unique to each one's unique.
But it depresses me beyond all belief, because I think back to, right, not to get all like old man on soapbox. I remember.
We always get there.
I remember going to buy a phone when I started secondary school here in the UK. I was about 12, and I said, right, Mum and Dad, we're going to get you a phone.
Okay, I was going to say, you didn't think that as a 12-year-old. I'm going to go get myself a phone.
No.
It's fine to be connected.
You know, I feel like maybe it's different. I feel like it's quite a thing in the UK. You go to school, you get the phone, or certainly for my generation. So
I'm just saying generation.
Well, you know, yeah, but the people watching might be of different generations. It was not directed at you.
Oh.
So pop myself along to the car phone warehouse, and I ended up with a Samsung Jet S8000, which had a little diamond as the home button. But in that store at that time, you had flip phones from Motorola. You had slide phones from Sony Ericsson that you could slide backwards to reveal a media player. There were Nokia phones that did all manner of weird things.
Do you remember when you browsed the phone store? Yeah.
I always remember the one that had, it was really slim. It had 2 rows of buttons, and it flipped around like that. You had the ones that they had in High School Musical where they kind of whip it like that and the screen flips round and you end up with something that's like
That's the
sort of
LG
like that.
chocolate, isn't it?
Maybe,
Anyways,
yeah. So much innovation and really, really cool. Like, you went to school and everyone had a different phone and everyone was kind of like, oh, yours does that. That's amazing. Like, mine does this.
Fun,
mine only does it. And it was new and innovative. And now you just, I just don't think you have that anymore. And that's what, it's sad, really. This is turning into a soapbox. So let's go back to the Samsung.
We always seem to get there, don't we? The
Yeah.
conversation of innovation versus reliability.
It irks. I don't think it's reliability. I think it's just blind consumerism.
Yeah.
They want a customer base that doesn't think, because that's what Apple has. Apple has 80 million people who once every 2 or 3 years buy the next iteration of the iPhone without thinking.
I don't want to think though.
But that's fine. But I miss when you had to, or not had to, when you had the opportunity to think. I miss when you went to a phone store and it was like, yeah, I can actually like get something really cool. You just don't have that anymore. You just you blind
I think I
by
wouldn't
the
trade
iPhone.
that. I think while I have nostalgia for that time period, I still wouldn't trade it for, the modern day simplicity. I don't know.
But well, because the point we're getting to now is that you blind by the iPhone, and Google and Samsung and all these other brands are almost trying to put something next to it so that you go, oh, well, that's the iPhone, but that one's actually a little bit cheaper in this store, so maybe I'll blind buy this one instead. It looks identical. It's probably going to do the same thing. And that, I think, is the play at large, is that brands want you to go in and be able to blind buy a Pixel or a Galaxy or an iPhone as if they were from the same family.
Yeah, only a very silly person, though, is going in to buy an iPhone and ends up buying a Samsung.
Well, it might be the right decision for them.
Maybe, but I don't think it's blind.
I think it's blind as in you're not looking at it and going, there's a standout feature between these two models that I'm really looking for. I much prefer the look of this one because they look the same. Let's call a spade a spade.
It is down to operating system.
It's down to what is the best value, what is the best, things like that. And that's fine, but I just miss the days when I would pay so much money if a phone came out that was like, we are going to do something absolutely crazy. Like,
I think they do, and we just don't pay attention. Or we think, oh, fun to see them do that.
Well, I think, en masse. But I've always been a fan of phones that are a bit left field, and I kind of, because I think that's where you get innovation from, and it's just a shame that
you want the entire consumer base to have the same idea, so that phone companies actually feel that they can do that.
I wish there was a bit more of it.
Yeah.
I understand it's never going to be the mainstream. I wish there was a bit more of a consumer base that would go in, let's go for the niche thing.
Yeah.
But I realise that that's very unlikely. Anyway, I've talked a lot about the Samsungs. One other thing I'm going to say, price.
Are they the same?
They are, I think, the same. The S25 Ultra starts at $12.99 and rises to $15.99.
Hasn't it always, though?
Is that not too much to pay for a phone?
Like, I mean, yes, but I mean, I think it's only going to get worse.
I agree with you.
And also, people are always like, iPhones are so expensive. And I'm like, no, all of them are that expensive if you're getting the top model. Like, they're very much on par, iPhones and Samsung and Google.
I think the issue is that compared to Samsung, Apple is not expensive. The issue I think we have is the standout that I've seen this year is the OnePlus 13, because it does everything and more that you get in most of the other phones, but it retails at 949 quid. Like, that's a serious proposition.
That extra 200 quid does make a huge...
And I know that very few people buy outright these days, right? You buy on a contract, it's amortized over...
Oh, no, I'm so away
over
from
2
that.
years.
I don't like that.
But it's the consumer habits of most people, which is why they get away with it. But if you are trying to buy a phone outright, I think it's ludicrous. I mean, even at the base model $12.99 for an Ultra, you're not a million miles away from... I use the Honor Magic V3. But for that money, you're getting a foldable technology. You're getting something different and new. And again, this goes back to my view on it. But you're not far away from that next step up the tech ladder.
I can't believe they had the audacity to take away the functions of the S Pen.
Well, but did you read this?
No.
Less than 1% of people make use of them. That's why it went.
Then get rid of the thing entirely. Get rid of the whole S Pen.
People still use the S Pen. They didn't use those features. That's why they got rid of them.
Oh.
And I was the same as you, but when you read that, that's on the consumer.
Then why didn't the price come down?
Well, because
I know there's reasonable reasons, but I think that's what I would think as a consumer.
I think
like you took away functionality.
I think the majority of consumers will not notice it is gone.
Really?
Well, there's only.
Well, I suppose that's true, but like that's actually really useful. Like I really didn't know that S Pen. Yeah, I'm proving your point. I didn't know that S Pen did all that stuff until quite recently, and then it went away, and I was like, oh. But I've seen people do really cool things with that, like being able to control like your camera and stuff from afar.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
You don't even have to get like an Apple Watch to take.
But that's not new either. That's been around for years. I remember.
I didn't know that.
When was the last time we would have had an S Pen?
To be able to like flip the camera or whatever it is.
Oh really? I don't know. That might be new.
No, that was an S Pen thing.
The clicky S Pen camera capture. I'm sure that's been around since it was.
Is it a click?
There's a clicky on the top. And I'm sure that was a thing back in the Galaxy Note days. Pete, someone's surely gonna comment and let us know if we're wrong. But
interesting. That's where you.
I remember my younger brother was very into the Note series back in the day, and I remember using that to click the camera and stuff. But
that's great. That is so underhyped. Then come on now.
We've got a few minutes left. Let's round things up. S Pen long term. Thoughts?
Like, is it going to stay? Go? I guess
that's what I mean. Yeah.
I guess if they want to strip it of its features because it wasn't useful in that way, then fine. But people still like use it as like a. I don't know. I like that. I guess I could see them getting rid of it and then you having to buy a separate pin, like a stylus, like you do with other phones to use. But then it's not as convenient because where do you put it?
I see.
Just lose it in your bag.
I think, and I've thought for a long time that it needs a redesign where, you obviously at the minute insert it into the bottom of the phone and the whole length goes into a slot in the phone.
Yeah.
I think they need to do some sort
magical, honestly.
Yeah, it's a great design. I don't. If you're going to get rid of it, you get rid of it. If you're going to keep it, it needs to have a place to go.
Samsung designers will be like, oh, so much real estate.
Well, this is it. Right? This is the trouble they've had. But I think you need to do something where it almost is in two parts, right? And when you insert it into the phone, it spring loads. Yeah, it spring loads, and so you're only taking up half the space in the phone.
Oh.
And then when you pop it out, it springs back, and you have the full length S Pen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A design like that.
I think that would make it feel cheaper.
It probably would, but at the minute,
I know what you mean, though.
It's not. It's clearly under a bit of threat. I feel like it needs to. The
S Pen designers
innovate.
were so sad when they said that they didn't want any more innovation with the S Pen. They were like, oh no, because there's an entire team that's like dedicated to the S Pen, probably.
Yeah, I expect so. I feel like you could. Because ultimately, then, if it's taking up half the space, it's saved for a few more years. And I think it would be really sad to see it go, personally.
Yeah, I think it is the one thing that really sets the Ultra apart from other phones. But yeah.
Anyway. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments what you think about any of the topics we discussed today, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, and I just want to add a note that... I know the name is The Week in Tech. We're working on it. We're trying to be more weekly, but we're only two people and we're rarely in town at the same time, as it turns out.
That'll change. It's going to get more frequent. I think it's just
I think it will.
Rough start to the year.
Yeah. It's still coming. It just might be, monthly or bi-monthly now.
We'll get to weekly. We'll be fine.
Well, we enjoy you if you're here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks so much.